Hello viewers. I believe you would have gone through the timing one of my lecture. If not, I request you to go through that video. Assuming that you have already gone through what is setup time, hold time, all those basic detail, propagation delay. I am directly discussing some of the problems which makes you to get through some of the basic concepts. Now let's try to look into this particular problem. Consider a logic network shown in this figure. Determine the propagation and the contamination delay of the network, assuming that the worst case gate delay is T gate. The minimum and the maximum delay of the gate is made as they are assumed to be identical. What are we trying to do and what this problem says? The basic idea about this problem is it is asking us to calculate what is the propagation delay. That's one. That is maximum delay. Then the next one is contamination delay. That's nothing but minimum delay for this particular network which is being given. What is the assumption made here? They have taken all the gates consume same timing. The propagation delay of each and every gate, T gate, that's the value of the propagation delay of each and every gate. And it happened to be the minimum value and maximum value for this. Right. Now let us see. First of all, you know what is a path? A path can be either of this four variety. It could be between register to register or input to reg, or it could be from reg to output. That's the point. Then the fourth thing is there could be a path without having a register directly from input to output. So it could be either of these four paths that could be taken into account. As far as this particular problem is concerned, you could see there is no reg in this. It's only from input to output. So you have an input A, B, C and D. The output you can name this as Y. Right. So what are the path possible? The path that could be possible is from A to the gate R1, R2, that could be one path. There could be another path from here to here which can go to this way. You can also see by visually you can see multiple paths, like my path could be like this way, this way, this way and this way. So like this I can have n number of paths, right? Possibly to name it, this is path number 1, this is path number 2, this is path number 3, this is path number 4, this is path number 5. Like this you can have, right, based upon the starting point of a signal and ending point of a signal. Fine. So you can have around 5 paths or even more in this particular given circuit. But what is being asked, you are asked to find out what is the propagation delay for a path which has the maximum propagation delay and the path which has the minimum propagation delay. Visually it is made very clear. So the path which has the minimum delay could be from A to Y. From A to Y. How do I say this? Because if I have a signal starting from A, you could see that it goes through R1, R2 and finally it reaches the output, right? So this could be the shortest path delay, right? When you compare all the remaining path, you could see no other path has less than that of 2 OR gate delay. In this problem it has been stated every gate having a delay of T gate. So the minimum is T contamination delay would be 2 propagation gate delay, right? What are the path actually? It is from A to R1 to R2. Say for example, if I am taking A equal to 1, if I make A equal to 1, irrespective of what is B, C and D, you could see A will make my output of this particular OR gate to be 1, and definitely it will make my output of this OR gate 2 also to be 1. So without any dependency with the remaining gate or remaining input, when I make A equal to 1, you can directly say Y equal to 1. So the path also will be from R1 to R2. So this is very clear, and we have found out what is the contamination delay. So this portion of my question is over. What about the second portion? That is, what is the maximum, that is propagation delay, which means maximum delay for this particular network. Okay, for this case, let's try to analyze this. Visually, if you look at this problem, what you could notice here is, if a signal start from B, it can go with I1, AND 1, AND 2, AND 3, R4. So orally, if you look at this, what you could notice is, this could be the worst case path or the maximum propagation delay path, because it travel through gate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gate. So at the outset, by looking this, you could come to a conclusion that T max or T propagation delay worst case or the maximum delay would be 5 times that of T gate. This is what we conclude. But a deeper analysis of this particular circuit will say this is not the right answer. How do you say this? Let's take a quick look at the circuit with data dependency. What do you mean by this? Orally, if you look at this particular circuit, what we said is true. Like the worst case path could be the path which has this 5 gate. But when we try to analyze deeper into this, what we understand, this path will never come into existence. The path from B to I1, AND 1 to AND 2, AND 3 and R2. This will never come into existence. How do we climb this? Let's see this. Now let me make A equal to 0, B equal to 0. If I make A equal to 0, B equal to 0, so what would happen? So this becomes 0. This is not going to make any change in that. But making B equal to 0 makes this to be 1. So thereby this becomes 1. If this becomes 1, this becomes 1. So the path will be from B, I1, R1, R2. So when I make this, this will be B2, I1, then R1, then R2. So what you could see is it require 3 T gate delay. Okay, right. Now again, let me make one more combination. Now let's make A equal to 0, B equal to 1. What it is trying to do? Look at here. So when I make A equal to 0, B equal to 1, what happens here is, let's do like this. A equal to 0, B equal to 1. When B equal to 1, this becomes 0, right? If this becomes 1, after an inverter it becomes 0. If this becomes 0, then this is actually A is also 0. Both are 0. Both are 0 will make this to be 0. If this is 0, the AND gate, one of my input AND gate is 0. So this will also become 0. The output is 0. Or what I am saying is, if this is 1, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, then this AND gate becomes 0, the output becomes 0. Or for this combination, you could see it passes from B to I1, then R1, then AND 3, then R3, R2. So totally 4 T gate delay. Now the claim what we are trying to make is, though there exists a path which goes through 5 gates physically, but it will never get excited. How do I say this? Because for all combination, now almost we have taken all combination. Can you see here? Just by taking this A and B, when I make A equal to 1, irrespective of what is there in B, C, D, we will quickly say that the output is going to be 1. The next case, when I take A and B, right, making A to be 0 and B to be 0 or 1, the output is purely independent of C and D. Or what do we say is, though there exists a physical path here, this will not get exercised, because when you compare this path and this path has four gates. So naturally, the path which has the shortest traveling distance or traveling time will get accessed. So for this combination, A equal to 0, B equal to 0, or A equal to 0, B equal to 1, what you could see is the maximum you can have only 4 T gate delay, not the 5 T gate delay. So what we say is, this 5 T gate delay is called as a false path. Or what do I mean by that is, that path will be there, but definitely it will not get accessed. And one more thing what you could notice in this particular problem is, actually it has a redundancy. Signal C and D doesn't have any dependency on the output. In fact, you can write the Boolean expression, and if you simplify, you can even simplify this particular circuit. That's what we have seen here. Okay, now let's move to the next problem. Okay, now let's take a close look at this particular problem. This problem, what are we trying to do is, we are trying to find out what is the time period T clock required for this particular circuit, right? So we have already said, so there could be 4 different type of path that could exist in our network, right? We need to find out how many paths are available. Say now let's quickly start doing this. From A to Y, there exists a path, a signal traveling from A to the Y. It's purely a combinational circuit path, which means there is no reg in this path. It is from input to output path. That is A to Y, which travel through this U7. U7 is one of the gate, U5 and U6. So it simply travel through this. That's one path. Then what else? We said it could be from input to output, that is pin to pin, input pin to output pin, or from reg to reg. Now let's look into this. When I say reg to reg, what you could see here is, from reg U1 to U2, you have a path. Look at here. From the output of this one, it can go through the gates, this gate U4, and reaches the another register U2. This is one path, right? Similarly, the output of this register being an input for the next register U1. So you can also have one more path here. So one path, 2 path, 3 path. Path number 4 is from reg to out you can have. That is from clock reg to the out. Starting from your clock, reg, then go through this gate 9 nanosecond and to the output. This is one way. You can also have one more path from clock, reg to the out. Right? That is from reg to out, which means you need to take from the clock so that you can calculate the overall delay. So you can have reg to reg, pin to pin, or clock to out. Right? Clock to reg, reg to out. So you can have like this. So this problem, you have two reg U1 and U2 that has been given. And the specification that has been given for the D flip-flop is setup time of those flip-flops are 3 nanosecond, hold time is 4 nanosecond, C to Q is 5 nanosecond. C to Q means from clock to Q it is 5 nanosecond. Then hold time of this is 4 nanosecond and setup time for this is 3 nanosecond. This is what it has been given. Apart from that, for every gate, the corresponding propagation delay has been given. It's 9 nanosecond here, 6 nanosecond, and this is 8 nanosecond, all this. So what we understand, you have multiple path, right? And in fact, you have all type of path, pin to pin path, reg to reg path, and you also have clock to out path. Now what you need to find out is, find the maximum timing among these three and find out what is the value of that. Using that you can find out what should be the clock required. That's what we are trying to do. First let's go with pin to pin path. Okay, so pin to pin means A to Y. So for A to Y, let's calculate what is the timing, right? So this U7, that is 1 nanosecond. Then coming to U5, that is 9 nanosecond. Then U6 has 6 nanosecond. So totally it is 16 nanosecond. Right? So pin to pin is 16 nanosecond. There is no other circuit which has, no other path which has pin to pin from input pin to output pin. Okay. Now let's take the second category. This is pin to pin category. The next one is reg to reg category. That is register to reg. Of course, you have now two options. Starting from U1 to U2 or U2 to U1. Both the way. Now let's see which is going to have the maximum value. Let's take U1 to U2. Always from reg to reg, what are the values you need to take? C to Q delay, time taken for C to Q, then propagation delay, then setup time delay. So these three should be added up from one reg to the other, right? Now let's take this one from U1 to U2, path U1 to U2. U1 to U2, C to Q delay is 5 nanosecond. So 5 plus this propagation delay is 7. There is only one gate here, 7 nanosecond. Then you need to be available before the second register by a setup time. The setup time is 3. So totally it is 15. So obviously it is less than 16. So there is nothing, there is no change. Now let's try to see from U2 to U1. U2 to U1. U2 to U1, what are the values? Again, C to Q delay. Yes. So that's going to be 5 nanosecond. Then what else? C to Q, then 8 nanosecond. This gate is 8. Then before this U1, it need to have a setup time. Setup time is 3. So it's nothing but 16 nanosecond. It's typically same as the earlier one. Okay, fine. So now we have seen reg to reg also. Now we would like to see the third path. The third path is clock to out, which means clock to reg, reg to out. Let's try to calculate. So in this case, you have two ways. From clock, this reg and this out. That's one way. From clock, this range and this on. This way also you can take it. But what you could notice here is both has the same delay. So I'm just taking only one. Let's go by this. Clock, it has 2 nanosecond. Now from here it's coming over to this. Then C2Q delay of that is 5 nanosecond. 5 nanosecond. Then propagation delay. Propagation delay is 9 plus 6, 15. So totally it comes to 22 nanosecond. That's it. So what I understand? See, among the 3 types of path, the clock to out path has the maximum timing. So the frequency or the time period for my clock should be t equal to 1 by 22 nanosecond. This should be the minimal frequency required for operating this particular circuit. Got it? That's all. Right. Now let's go with one more word. What do you mean by false path? Maybe we have seen earlier, but to have still more understanding, with one simple example I will tell you. These are the physically existing path, but they will never get exercised. Those path we call it as the false path. Now let's take a simple example. You have 2 mux. Let's assume that there are 2 mux. That is, you could see 2:1 mux. For this mux 1, these are the 2 input and 1 output. For the mux 2, these are the 2 input and 1 output. Right? Physically, if you look at, you can have 4 path. What is that? The signal can enter through A and reaches through this path and reach the output. Similarly, the signal can enter into A and go through this path and then reach the output. This is one way. So for every input, you have 2 paths. So for the second input also, you have 2 more paths. So totally you can have 4 paths. The 4 paths are listed here. Like A to C, C1, C2 out. A, C1, C, C1, C2 out. The second thing is A, C out. Similarly B, B, B1, B2, C, C1, C2 out, or B, B1, B2, C out. It could be both the way. Now the point is, though there are 4 path, physical path available, what you could notice here is this circuit has only 2 valid path. That is, path number 1 and path number 4 are the valid path. The path 2 and path 3 will never get accessed. How? Why? Now let's look into this. Look at the select line. Both the mux has the same select line. If I make select line to be 0, what does that mean? The first line is going to be get selected, that is A to be selected, and similarly here also 0. So the path could be only this. In case if you make your select line to be 1, the path could be only this. So though there are 4 physically connected paths, but based upon the circuit constraint, what you could notice is few paths cannot be accessed. They are called as the false path. Clear? That's what we say it as a false path. And one more terminology, what you call it as a multi-cycle path. This multi-cycle path are the path where the logic or the combination logic require more than 1 clock cycle. Under that case, they used to segregate that path and make sure that particular path alone is being operated with more than 1 clock cycle. Because there could be some path which take more amount of time for computation. So if you take that into consideration and decide your T, then most of the time, except that path, whenever the data move to the other path, your system need to be idle for a major amount of time. To avoid this, what people do, say if there are, it's like this. This path has 10, this path has 11, this path have 9, this path have 12. These are the timing. There is one more path which take 50. Now, if I take this 50 and decide what should be the time t, then obviously most of the time the data are going to be through this 4 path. Ideally, most of the time the system is going to be idle. So what I do, I segregate this path separately and fix based upon this as t equal to 1 by 12. Then for this alone, I just make sure this is going to get computed with the 5 clock cycle, right? So I segregate this path because I don't want to drag down the speed of all the path. Rather, I select this path and make sure my whole network is going to operate for this particular path alone with multiple number of clock cycle. It require multiple clock cycle to compute that path. So that's what you call it as a multi-cycle path. Yeah, so I think you would have gone through like what are the basic idea of multi-cycle path, false path, how to calculate the timing, and what do you mean by false path, and how to identify that based upon the data dependency. Meet you in another lecture. Thank you. Bye.